it makes me, you know what? It makes me fucking sick. It really does. I just flew in from a 2-week vacation to Dominican Republic. The first week we go there, we spend up in the mountains. They take me up this dirt road that there's death around every corner. Seriously. They're showing me, oh, somebody last week flew off the side of the road. I think a guy and his wife. And what happens? They go down there. They died. So they go down there to pull them out of the wreckage. And all the neighborhood... Everybody's got cell phones now. And Wi-Fi connections. We go up into the mountains. I swear to God, there's barely running water. But there's Wi-Fi, probably better than I have it here. Anyhow, they pull these people out of the car. All the neighborhood kids come over and start snapping pictures. So now you go up into the hills and I'm sitting there drinking my morning coffee and these kids are running up to me showing me dead bodies on their phone. I'm like, what are you... Can I fucking relax? Anyhow. That's the other thing. I'm telling you something right now. We're living the wrong way. We are. We're living the wrong way around here. I don't know why I go up into these mountains for a week. For 2 weeks. 2 weeks I'm in Dominican Republic. I don't feel a fucking ache. I don't feel a pain. I don't feel any... I feel like Superman up there. Every night I sleep for 5 hours. It feels like 12. I drink almost an entire bottle of booze. I wake up the next morning like, hey, let's get cracking. As soon as the plane touches down here in New York, my back starts killing me. My knees are getting all twisted up. I feel like shit. God almighty, I drink 3 beers over here. 3 beers! The next morning I'm like, where's the water? Anyhow, we're up in the village and my wife says to me, we're going to take a walk to this guy's house. No, we're going to take a ride over to this guy's house. She's like, we're all going to hop in the car, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, there's not enough room in the car. Like always, I'm last. I said, she goes, you want to walk? She goes, you can walk with Bernardo over here. And Bernardo's like a 70-year-old guy. I said, fuck it, I'll walk with Bernardo. We start walking down this trail. I mean, listen, I've done a little bit of hiking, you know. You go upstate. I used to go up to my friend's cabin upstate. I've done a little bit of hiking. This was like American Ninja Warrior. We're going over like ravines. We're traveling on these paths where, I tell you what, I got flip-flops on. One wrong step and you slide down a hillside and there's no stopping you. You probably get impaled on a coffee tree. I'm not kidding you. This guy Bernard is like 70 years old. He's doing like leaps and bounds down this fucking trail. I'm hanging on for my life. My flip-flops are slipping back and forth. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. Anyhow, he's climbing up a tree, pulling down bananas for me to try. I mean, these bananas, like, you wouldn't believe how the earth provides. There's like bananas jutting out of the ground, avocado trees hanging, mangoes hanging down, like hundreds of mangoes on a tree. Every day they're showing me a new piece of fruit that I've never seen in my goddamn life. More than one piece of fruit. And you taste it, it's delicious. Oh, this is like a pear and a guava. Try that. I'm like, why don't we have this in the States? We can't get this over here? We can't plant this goddamn thing? Every day was a new fruit. It was blowing my mind. I was like, Jesus Christ. It just pops out of the ground. Anyhow. So I'm walking with this guy Bernard, and apparently he wants to show me. I find out later. Apparently, we're in this like riverbed where I guess it only fills up with water when it rains. So he jumps down. He wants to show me crabs, because what happens when we're in the dried riverbed? And it's like, there's rocks everywhere. Apparently he wants to show me that if you pull up some of these rocks, there's like little pots of water underneath them, and some of them can be filled with as many as like 40 or 50 crabs. And they scoop these crabs out of here, and they take them back up, and they make soup out of them. It's supposed to be like the most delicious soup ever. So he's like, come, he's showing, come. And this guy, 70 plus years old, right? Fit as a fiddle. Stomach hard like a cement board. He jumps down on his knees on rocks. I almost blew out both my ACLs watching this. On rocks, he jumps down on both knees, and he starts moving these boulders out of the way. The guy had hands like steel traps. He starts moving these boulders, and he's digging through the mud, and he's moving these boulders, and finally he moves one out of the way, and you see this little water hole, and it's full of crabs. See, and he's pulling the crabs out. He's pulling crabs out. I don't know about you, but when I don't touch crabs. If I'm going to take a crab out of a bucket, it might as well be like removing a nuclear rod from a reactor. It's such a precision process for me, because if, God forbid, one of those crabs gets me by the claw, I'm gonna scream like a woman. He starts yanking these crabs out of there. They're like biting his hand. They bite, but they can't get through the leather glove that is this guy's hands. Anyhow, next thing you know, we're off again. He's bounding up the hill. We're going over here. He's jumping over this. I'm like, by the time we get done, I'm like, I'm going into cardiac arrest. Anyhow. So you meet people like that at 70 years old. Then, fast forward a week, we're in the resort. I'm surrounded by these fucking diabetic Walmart zombie Americans. Nobody is a bigger patriot than me. I love America. I really do. But I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. Then you watch these big, fat, swollen, ankled, compression socks wearing walruses trying to waddle out of a 3-foot swimming pool upstairs. Get off my show! I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed I had to hit the buffet extra hard that day. I'm sorry. I go to a buffet, I got to stack pizza to the moon. I get my proteins. I'll get some chicken, I'll get some beef, I'll get some like potatoes, but then on top I'll just stack pizza to the moon. I know. Hey, guilty. Sip of coffee for pizza to the moon. I need more coffee. Sorry, man. Then while we're up in, not to get off that, I know we want to get to it here, but we're up in the mountains. A brother says to me, "Go take the motorcycle for a ride." And I'm like, no, I don't want to fuck up your motorcycle, you know. It's been like, I don't know, probably 2 years, three, longer than that since I've even ridden a motorcycle, let alone hop on this guy's dirt bike and drive through the mountains. He's like, no, take it for a ride, take it for a ride. I'm like, I said, and I got my son here, okay? Number one, my son on the plane in. If you've ever taken a 3-year-old on it, he's 3 years old now. If you've ever taken a 3-year-old on an airplane, I felt like pulling the emergency hatch and just jumping out of the plane. He's taking the tray, he's slamming the tray up and down, he's playing drums on the tray. Oh my God. And you can't do anything. You can't. There's no timeout anywhere. There's no escape. I looked at my wife, I said, I don't know if I could do this again. Oh my God. I wanted to stick my head in the engine. Alright. Yeah, so I had a couple beers, right? A bunch of the neighborhood guys come down on their motorcycle. And when I say guys, we're talking about anywhere from 12 to 60. All the village people come down. The village people. They're on their motorcycles. He's like, go ahead, take a ride with them on the motorcycle. So I'm like, it's like, all right, you know, what am I going to do? So here I am. Now he's got this Honda dirt bike. Everybody drives motorcycles from China over there. They're either clapped out dirt bikes or they're these motorcycles from China. I don't know. You can't buy them in the United States. And they're cheap. They're dirt cheap. They're like $700-800. They're great though. And they look great. I got to show a picture. I don't think I have a picture. Anyhow. These guys pull up. Number one, the house is built on the side of a hill. The hill's like this. So I take the motorcycle and I roll it out. Like nobody rolls the motorcycle. They ride the thing everywhere. I like roll it out. I put the kickstand down. They're looking at me like, what is he doing? I try to kickstart this motorcycle. I can't get it started. Now I got a crowd of people around me. Everybody's laughing. I'm like, oh boy, here I am, Joe Gringo. Finally, one of the like 12-year-olds has to come over and kickstart the bike for me. And he's listening to the engine and he's like blipping the throttle and he's turning the mixture screw on the carburetor with his fingernail. I'm like, this guy's like, who is this guy? Mario Andretti? Anyhow. He tunes up the whole bike for me. It's like running like a top. Okay? Okay, off we go. Next thing you know, we're going up. It had to be steeper than 45-degree angle. Maybe a 60-degree angle. I'm going up first gear over this dirt trail with rocks jutting out like this. I mean, and basically a sheer cliff on the other side. I was hanging on for dear life. The lactic acid was building up in my legs because my thighs were squeezing the fairings of this dirt bike so hard. It was literally just hanging on for my life. Going around these dead man turns, going down. Let me tell you something. Going up, no problem. Going down, you'd shit your pants. I was in first gear with the clutch out and my foot, number one, my rear brake fully engaged, tire skidding down the hill. There was no stopping. And you'd have somebody in front of you who was stopping a little bit better, maybe because they weighed less. And it was like you were passing them by on skidding tires. Oh my God. It was horrifying. Not just horrifying. And we come down and we were going across these rivers. I mean, we're going engine deep across rivers. And then what they like to do is they stop in the river, they put the kickstand down on a rock, and they tilt the bike over and crank the throttle, and the rear tire just shoots water all over everybody and cools everybody down. Oh my God. It was fantastic. Not to mention, every about 10 minutes we stopped to get a beer. And you'd stop at these, like, what looked like a wooden shed. And it would be like, hey, you knock on the shed, all of a sudden a guy comes popping out, and you go inside, and there's like a little store in there. You know, like a little general store. And every single one of these general stores had a fucking president. It's like ramshackle shelves that look like they're going to fall down. The whole hut's made out of sticks and twigs. But there it was, the Presidente cooler. They don't mess around over there with their beer. It's Presidente. It's a national beer, okay? You don't walk in. You walk into a 7-Eleven here, you got your pick of any beer you want under the sun. Over there, you're drinking Presidente, Jack, or you're getting the fuck out. And they have it at every, I guess the Presidente company drives like up into the mountains and delivers these things. It says, yeah, keep the cooler and just sell the beer. And the cooler's at a certain temperature. It's almost like the beer is just about to become slushy. It's ice cold. And it's the most delicious thing you ever have in your fucking life. So every 10 minutes we stop and have a beer. I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, I shouldn't be drinking and driving like Joe American idiot. But I got news for you. It's the only thing that kept me alive. And I'm not kidding. Listen. I was so nervous on that motorcycle, and so stiff. And there's one thing you can't be, is stiff on a motorcycle. You gotta let the motorcycle move, baby. It's like riding a bull. A couple of drinks, I was pretty relaxed. I said, hey, fuck it if I go over the side of the cliff. Let's see if we can survive. Seriously. So I would loosen up, and then I would ride the motorcycle even better. And besides, I was like, hey, hell, let me drink. You know, let me get shit-faced. That way if I fall off the bike, I don't feel it as much. So here we are. And by the way, you're driving through these trails and you're seeing the most breathtaking mountain views you've ever seen in your fucking life. It was this strange, I don't know what you call it. As you're riding, you look at these beautiful views, but then you'd have to focus on the trail because you couldn't really take your eyes off the trail, or you really would be in trouble. And I mean that. So it was like every once in a while you'd hit a patch where you could kind of open up the bike and look around a little bit, and you're like, whoa. And then next thing you know, you're going up a hill and you gotta, like, you know, really pay attention. So it was like, listen, I'm telling you something right now. It's the element of danger that makes it so invigorating. And you gotta have that. If there was a rail or a fucking net on the side of the road to keep you from going over, it's not as exciting. It's not as fun. It's just not. Wow. Anyway, I mean, is this like looking at somebody's vacation slides? Let's move on. Sip of coffee for fucking pizza stacked to the moon. All right. So here we go. I'm at work. This is before vacation. My mother gives me a call. I forgot all about this. I got back from vacation. I visited my parents before I came home, and they're like, "Oh, here's the Nintendo games," because this happened like 3 weeks ago. Anyhow, my mother calls me at work. They're at a garage sale. They got these Nintendo games. I said, "Oh yeah, Ma, read them out to me." So each one is. She's like, each one has an individual price. So I'm like, oh, all right, this is going to be annoying. So I'm like, all right, Mom, read me out the names of the games. So she reads me the names of the games and the prices. And I'm like, these things are priced so weird. I don't know what's going on here. But I tell her, I tell her to pick up all the ones that I think we don't have, and I think this is a really, I think, interesting selection of games, and I think the price was okay. So let's check them out together. I haven't even looked at them yet. I mean, I looked at the names, but I haven't taken them out of the box. Here we go. Wow, this is an elusive one, huh? Ultima Exodus. I've never found any of the Ultima games. FCI. I always wanted to look, $4. There you go. $4. I've always wanted to, if I'm not mistaken, this is a late release. I could be absolutely wrong, but I remember seeing the Ultima games in the video rental store later on. Nintendo shop. Wow, I'd really like to try it. Look at that, battery backup and everything. How about that? Here we go. Rolling Thunder. Straight from the video connection. There we go. Rolling Thunder kind of reminds me. It reminds me of Global 13. Gogol 13. You know, I don't know. We all know Rolling Thunder in the arcade, right? Tenjin game. All right, here's one you find all the time. Rocket Ranger. And I know we have this one, but for some reason, when I heard it over the phone, Rocket Ranger, I said I'd grab it, but I shouldn't have. Data East game here, Burger Time. Burger Time. A lot of people flip their lid for Burger Time. I think one of the best versions of Burger Time is probably on the Intellivision, right? Yeah. Before you could get Burger Time on the NES, the Intellivision probably had the best version of Burger Time, right? Was it out on Coleco? Oh, maybe Coleco. I don't know. Another Data East game here. Oh, that was $5, by the way, for Burger Time. Another Data East game here. Karate Champ. I think we have this one too, but I wasn't sure. I mean, it's chalking up to seem like I think we have all these games. Here we go. Dragon Warrior for $3. I was like, for $3? Okay. It's in nice shape. How about that? I'll go for that. This is a game I really want. This is a game I got really excited about. I don't know why. Space Shuttle Project. Huh? I saw somebody talk about this game once, and I saw a little bit of screen footage of it, and I said, oh my god, what is this, some type of space shuttle simulator or whatnot?
8, 7, 6, 5. We're going for main engine start.
What year was this? 1991. Alright. This is on the heels of, it's not even really on the heels of, but I don't know, what is this? You try to launch some type of spaceship? And I mean, come on, this is my type of game. I have an idea in my head about how this game plays out, and if it does play out the way I think it does, we got a home run over here. This is a game I really want to try out. This is like, when did the Challenger blow up? I was in, let's see, I think I was in 3rd grade. Mrs. Quatella. I remember everybody, I remember when the Challenger blew up, we were in school, and all the teachers huddled us into a room, into one of the class. This was, you have to understand, when the Challenger blew up, it was a big deal for teachers, okay? Because there was a teacher on board the Challenger when it exploded, okay? So next thing you know, the teachers all bring us into a room, and in comes the TV from the AV room, and they start showing us, like, the Challenger on the news blowing up over and over and over again. And when you're a kid, you're like, I remember thinking to myself, oh man, that's a tragedy, but it's rain. I remember it was raining outside, and I was like, are we going to be able to get that TV in the auditorium to watch Popeye and Betty Boop later? I'm sorry, that's all I was thinking. You're showing third graders a spaceship blowing up. Alright, number one, listen. The audacity of man to try to go up into outer space. I mean, is anybody really surprised that the space shuttle blew up? I mean, come on. A government-funded program trying to go up to space? It's utterly ridiculous. It should be... I'm amazed that any of them make it into outer space, to be honest with you. Anyway, here we go. You know what? You know what the Challenger made me realize? How brutal humanity is. Because I think I remember hearing that day, and this is kids. We're talking about kids here. I think I remember hearing almost. It was probably the next day in school. The old NASA joke. What does NASA stand for? Need another 7 astronauts. Okay? And I remember thinking to myself, wow, that was fast. Somebody came up with that joke quick. And I was thinking to myself, even us kids heard it, so parents were talking about it at home, so a kid caught wind of it and told it the next day at school. So, I mean, it didn't dawn on me then, but I always remembered that, and it dawned on me later on in life how, people are brutal, man. Here we go. Wow, what do we got here? American Video Entertainment F-15 City War? What's going on here? I don't know. Look at that. Look at that case, huh? F-15 really is the it's the Cadillac of jet fighters, right? I mean, if the F-14 Tomcat or like a Roadster, right? Sports car, the F-15 was like a Cadillac, right? I mean, it had those two humongous engines, and just like could carry like a payload, like it could carry like an elephant under each wing, and was just like state of the art, right? F-15. They're probably still flying that goddamn thing over in Israel. The F-15 Strike Eagle, baby. Take that one. That's what I'd want to fly. You could take your Tomcat somewhere else. All right. Me and the Goose will be in F-15 Strike Eagle, baby. Here's one. This one I was excited about. Here we go. Acclaim. What's this? Trog. What do I know about it? Absolutely nothing. Trog. $3. Looks neat. I don't know. Looks neat. Okay. Here's a classic. 1943. Alright. The Battle of Midway. I don't know. Capcom. $5. This one, this seemed real interesting. I don't know what's going on here. Metal Mech Man and Machine. I don't remember this game growing up. And I made it a point to know all the Jalico games because my buddy Rex was a huge Jalico fan. He liked some of the tennis games, Racket Attack. There was some other Jellicoe games that he liked. I don't know. But, so this one's interesting that I didn't know about this one. Metal Mech, Man and Machine. I don't know. Look at that cover. Mechs. Interesting. And finally, Big Nose the Caveman. I know we don't have it. And how are you going to turn that one down, huh? It's Big Nose the Caveman. Comerica game. Licensed by Codemasters. Published by Comerica. Jesus Christ, what's going on here? I don't know. It's got one of these crazy cartridges, dip switch on the back. I don't know what's going on. What's that switch for anyhow? I don't know. Do not drop, do not get wet, do not leave in direct sunlight. So there you go. You know what? We paid a steep... I didn't do the math. I think we paid $40 for everything. I still owe my parents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do we like to pay $40 for 12 Nintendo games? Not really. Not really. But there are some titles in here that we don't have. And that's all I need to know. And it's becoming so hard to find Nintendo games out there. I'm sorry. So we're grasping at straws. We're grasping at straws. Anyhow, yeah, just before I went on vacation, I went to visit my parents. I got a bicycle, and I got this thing on the back that you tow around your kid. So I brought him over there just to say goodbye. And it was a Saturday afternoon. On the way home, there was a garage sale. Garage sailing was over. To me, garage sailing ends around 11 o'clock in the morning. Maybe earlier than that. Maybe like 10:30. And we're riding down the block. It's probably like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's a garage sale. So I'm like, hell, why don't we just pull in and take a look? We go in there, and there's a woman and her son. I ask them if they have any video games. She's like, everybody's asking for video games. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding. She's like, I think my son has a PlayStation. He goes, I got a PlayStation 2. I'm like, I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, you got nothing? You don't have anything older than that? Anything? He goes, I got a Game Boy. I said, oh yeah, you got games too? He's like, yeah. I was like, bring it out. Anyhow, he comes out with this. It's a Game Boy Advanced SP. In the box. I've never gotten one in the box before. So now I'm intrigued. It's got everything in here. And it's like you put it back the right way. It's got the charger in there, one side. It's got the manual. Look at this. It's got the manual and everything. That's, I don't know. Let's see the Game Boy. Let's see if it's wrecked. How you get it out of here? Oh, here it is. There it is. This is 001. Look at me. I'm Mr. Game Boy now. It's an AGS 001. Anyhow, that's a nice shape. I'm sorry. I'm always amazed that these things they power up. This thing was probably sitting in a closet for decades. Well, not decades, right? For years. And there it goes. It powers up. Game Boy Advance in the box. So I'm like, how much you want for it? She's like, well, you know, these things are selling really well on eBay. I'm like, oh, I was about to load my kid back on the bike and leave. So I'm like sitting there like, oh. So I'm like, so what do you, so she goes, well, make me an offer. I said, I'm thinking $20. She goes, oh, 30. And I said, the most I'm willing to pay is $20. I said, I hit her with, does it work? Oh, yes, it works. So I'm like, I said, the most I'd be willing to give you is 20. And she goes, 25. And I said, you know what, it's no big deal. I said, and I start to like turn around to walk away. So I'm like, it's all right, I'm going to pass on that. So then I see the son like look at his mom like, come on, Mom, like, what are we going to do? Sell this thing on eBay? Like one of these deals? And then she's like, all right, you want to sell it for 20? Sell it for 20. So that's it, 20 bucks. I don't know. That was a very long story for I don't know what. Oh, and it came with this Game Boy Advance case, and I'm looking at this case, and I'm like, what is somebody really like walking around with this thing? Or like, even worse, is somebody like, hey guys, I got my Game Boy Advance. I mean, honestly, it's a game holder. Are you really walking around with this thing? Anyhow, there's 3 games in there. Tony Hawk. Men in Black. Oh, I can only imagine. Sip of coffee for the guy that was wearing that case back in the what? Early 2000s? What year did this goddamn thing come out? Alright guys, so let's do something that we haven't done in a very long time. And let's get these in the case. By the way, I'm Bithead 1000. You just tuned in to the greatest video game program in the history of human civilization. And you better believe that. With a 4K face! Let's get him in the